Welcome to my Knockhatch hand dryer adventure. Before we dive in, here's a quick guide to my rating system. Nice, or thumbs up, means the dryer is good and does its job well. Meh, MEH, or thumbs in the middle, means it's okay, or maybe a knockoff but still performs alright, like the Blue Dry Eco Dry. Technically a knockoff, but it works. And then yuck, or thumbs down, means it's absolutely terrible, like the Warner Howard SM48. And finally, epic. Now this one's special. An epic hand dryer doesn't always mean it's the best at drying. It usually means the dryer is rare, uncommon, or becoming harder to find. Sometimes this could mean that they have been discontinued for a year or more. For example, the accelerator. It used to be pretty common, but the newer models have reliability issues, so they're slowly vanishing. That makes them epic in my book, not because they're vanishing, but the fact that they are rarer to find. First up, the unisex toilet at the entrance, which honestly looked more like a garden shed than a toilet, and inside with a Love Bay hand dryer. And when I say hand dryer, I mean a £20 Amazon special that probably replaced something decent, except this one wasn't even working. It looked relatively new, but yeah, completely dead. What a start. Yuck, what is this rubbish? They're literally about to close. Random place for a thing. Should be there, really. Or maybe there. Well, that might be a bit far. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, is it broken? Yeah, no, not working. Yeah. Bin, there we go. Yuck. The next closest toilets I didn't film. One was in the Magical Wood, which is all about fairies and sparkles, and let's be honest, I have zero interest in fairy business. The other was the Changing Places toilet, but I didn't want to go in because there were basically two massive signs saying who should go in and who shouldn't. And it was also locked with a key that you needed to get from the reception because it had a radar lock along with another lock on top. And the signs basically were telling me, don't even think about it. I did find a picture though, and it shows a rather depressing Blow Motion branded Coyote K2008 in black. Now that colour makes it at least somewhat interesting, since you don't often find these in black. So it earns a meh, or a thumbs in the middle, from me. And of course the image was shown then, but I really don't need to be saying this bit, so I don't know why, but I'm still going to include it anyway. Next, the toilets near Pirates Cove, which used to be a proper toddler pool with a slide, but it's now more like a puddle for toddlers. I mean, it's probably even a puddle for babies at this point, because toddlers would be about ankle deep in that water. I don't know how it's still open, but apparently it is. The disabled toilet had a Blue Dry Eco Dry, a Kingwee Jet Dry rebadge, just as loud as I remember them being. They even installed some of these in the new toilet block at my school, and you can hear them from all the nearby classrooms. It's sending my DT teacher around the bend because her classroom is right next door. The men's had an Ike AK2803B, branded as New Look. I did a discreet film because the place was heaving. The door was hooked open, and to top it off, there was literally a Knockhatch worker using the urinal behind me when I was drying my hands. So verdicts, the Blue Dry Eco Dry gets a meh, or a thumbs in the middle, while the New Look gets a nice, or a thumbs up. It's just a rebrand, not a knockoff, and it's relatively quiet too. Perfect for this puddle.
Okay, then let's go.
Then we stopped by at Froggy's Cafe, greasy food on one side and a soft play I wouldn't dare go in on the other. If I did, I'd probably leave with 3 concussions and a lifetime ban. Since everything's so low, I'd have to army crawl. And let's be honest, I have no place in that soft play that's designed for toddlers. The dryers, though, were in the cafe bit. In the disabled, there was a black Coyote branded as Blow Motion. And in the men's, an Ike AK2803B. And you could even see marks on the wall showing it replaced a Coyote. Now, some people would argue the Ike is a good replacement. It's rated higher, and it's not a knockoff. But personally, I think the Coyote dried better. Even though the Ike is technically an upgrade, I wasn't convinced. So even though the Ike is a thumbs up and the Coyote is a thumbs in the middle, I would still say, in this specific situation, the Coyote was better. Yeah. I'm not sure what that constant beeping is. I have a feeling it's that. But it's not gone off yet. What's this? Oh no, don't know what that is. Also no disabled pull cord. Dirty mirror. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Next, the Waffle House, which served up an absolute meme opportunity. Both the disabled and the men's toilets had Euronics hand dryers. Yes, that Euronics hand dryer. The one from the legendary meme. Now, coming from the female toilet, I could actually hear a World Dryer Air Force in action. Infinitely better. I couldn't tell if it was a PHS, a Warner Howard, or a PHS Warner Howard unit, but it was definitely a Mark II or Mark III, since it didn't have that high-pitched whine of the Mark I, which it is famous for. So yeah, the ladies get a decent Air Force, while we in the men's get budget meme dryers. Honestly, it felt like Knockhatch looked at the blokes and went, nah, they don't deserve nice things. Which is obviously a joke, but still, it's a bit rude. Come on. Yuck, my phone battery's about to die. In the female toilet, there's no force, I can hear it. Euronics dispenser, best hand dryer. Yuck. Euronics dispenser, best hand dryer. Euronics dispenser, best hand dryer. And finally, we have the dryers that were way louder than I remembered. These are Kingwee Thin Dries, rebranded as the Dry Flow Slim Force. And in my books, they're nice. Thumbs up from me. They were inside what looked from the outside like one of those temporary classrooms that nearly every secondary school seems to have. Since I'm still in secondary school, it felt way too familiar. Inside though, instead of dodgy desks and squeaky chairs, it was just toilets. I first tried the one in the men's, and I genuinely wasn't prepared for how loud it was. It actually gave me a bit of a fright, so I didn't continue using it. Then I filmed the one in the disabled toilet too, which somehow managed to sound even louder, probably because it was in such a small room. These toilets were right by the entrance to the second zoo and the splash park. Knockhatch has two zoos. The first one you walk through when you get in, with bigger animals like goats, llamas and emus. The second one, near these dryers, is full of smaller creatures like parrots, monkeys, otters and loads of other birds. And it was actually in the first zoo where I took one of my favourite pictures of the day. I'll show that on screen now. Nice, but this is going to be extremely loud. Dry flow. Foam soap, love to hear it. Okay, you ready? It's going to be loud. And in 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, that was loud. Nice. And that wraps up my Knockhatch hand dryer adventure. We had it all. garden shed toilets with bargain bin dryers that didn't even work, fairyland loos I avoided, knockoffs pretending to be something they're not, replacements that sparked debates that no one asked for, meme tier Euronics, and hand dryers so loud they nearly sent me into another dimension. Overall, Knockhatch was a roller coaster, but not the fun kind you ride. The kind where your ears are ringing and you're just wondering why they can't install something half decent in all of the toilets. So yeah, Knockhatch, a solid mix of nice, meh, and yuck. Nothing really extremely epic though. Basically the holy trinity of hand dryer reviewing. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. The next one is going to be colourful, maybe, if it doesn't get postponed again. Because don't forget, I need to track down a map and see which dryers survived the replacement purge. So keep an eye out, it's coming, I think. Until then, I'll keep drying my hands so you don't have to. Although let's be honest, you probably will anyway. Who wants to leave a toilet with wet hands?